the Zoomer Perspective. Join us as we zoom through topics and share our Gen Z perspective. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Zoomer Perspective show. I'm Jacob, and with me here today, I have Sam, one of my good friends. So welcome.
Howdy. Good to be on.
Yeah, glad to have you here. I've been wanting to get more friends on and more people on and have just variety of opinions. I mean, a lot of times my friends and I, we tend to have the same thought process anyways, but Jackson and I usually definitely do. Mm-hmm. And so, not that we're going to have a controversial conversation, but I need to get somebody on here that really disagrees, because then you can have a really fun conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But anyways, today we're going to be looking at fear and anxiety and just how it can control our lives and how we can overcome that and to turn to God instead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So in your life, what is something that makes you anxious or fearful, I guess, on a regular basis?
Yeah. I think it comes down to stuff like value.
Yeah.
Like where's my value?
You're at? Yeah.
Am I contributing to other people? Do they find me valuable? I think that's something that caused a lot of just fears, anxieties of, am I enough for them?
Yeah.
For myself, stuff like that.
I get that. So I guess, how do you deal with that? Like, what is your...
Yeah.
Because I mean, keeping that in your head on a constant level is probably not the most healthy thing, because you're always constantly thinking about, what does this person think of me, or how do they feel about me? So I guess, how do you, if you don't mind sharing, how do you deal with that? Like, what's your go-to?
Yeah, I think it's not something I deal with on the day-to-day. Maybe in the back of the mind, it's there, but it's just certain things, conflicts that bring it out. On the day-to-day, it's not something that I have to work through. It's the days that are hard, and those days, it's just kind of all you can do to make it through and try and find something like that.
Yeah. I definitely used to be the same way, for sure. I always, if somebody was, whispering or something, I'm like, oh, they're whispering about me. Or not that I'm necessarily saying you're doing this way, but for me, it was making it selfish, making it about me, and always assuming the worst, and, caring and giving heed to what those people think. And I finally came to a point to where I just stopped caring. I mean, there's deep down, there's still a little bit where I care a little bit.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I just stopped caring per se what they think, and instead I try to do my best to just be an example, but that doesn't always work well.
Yeah. I find myself the same way. It's just like it's everyday people. They couldn't care less about what they think. It's, when somebody close, little comment,
it's harder,
a little thing that digs deep and kind of triggers some of that stuff.
Yeah. I find with this specific part of, with this specific fear, I guess, I find that communication is probably one of the best ways. Like, I know, we give our friend Noah crap all the time about every little thing. And you can tell when it actually bothers him, because there's a little, I guess, deflection or crumble in his body language and how he says, screw you. Yeah. Which normally he just says that out of like he doesn't actually care, but sometimes you can tell, and it's like
there's some hurt.
Yeah, some hurt there. And you're like, well, what do you actually care about? Because we don't want to give you a hard time about something that actually bothers you. But it takes communication.
Yeah,
I think with a lot of things, I mean, communication can solve a lot of things. But what are just some general fears you think people have, or that you've seen that people have dealt with?
I think a lot of it is like social. Like, I think so much of it comes from I don't think a lot of people face immediate fear in their day-to-day life unless it's like a spider or something.
I guess more anxiety then.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, okay, here, maybe. Yeah. So one that comes to mind for me is money and financial. I think people struggle with that a lot and give it a lot of weight in their lives. I mean, would you agree with that?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is something that directly contributes value to your life and something
Yeah.
that society places a lot of value on. You know, what kind of car you drive, where you live, what do you have a house, what do you dress like, what do you know, all the things that are attributed to
Yeah.
money. I think that can.
Yeah. Well, especially if you, a lot of times people will try to live like their life, like they have more money than they necessarily do because they hang out with people that do have a little bit more or a little bit stable. And that can be super harmful as well to, instead of being wise with your money, trying to live like you have more than you do have.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that can be a dangerous thing and a big fear of people.
Yeah.
But unless you have something more to add to that, I want to get more into the topic of fear and just so when you are scared, when you're afraid, anxious, worried, or other people as well, like it doesn't have to be you specifically. Like, what are some of the reactions? What are the things you do? Sorry, I have notes on my phone. What are the things you do? Like, what is your first instinct, I guess?
My first instincts aren't always healthy. I think it's a secondary thing to kind of slow down and think and
Absolutely
try and lean on God.
But it's that unhealthy part that I'm trying to dig out here a little bit.
Yeah. I think it just depends on what it is. I think I have a lot of unhealthy first reactions, whether it's kind of reflecting back on other people and like, well, I think I'm worth this much. Screw you. Like,
yeah,
that kind of like, you know,
especially if somebody digs at you, like a dig back or a defensiveness.
Yeah, I think anxiety is often displays itself in anger, or irritation. You know, somebody who's super anxious can generally be very irritated because that's the only way to express that emotion. But yeah, I think that'd be the first go-to is irritation.
So let's go. So irritation. Okay. Let's say a fearful versus excited versus anxiety. Let's say a fearful scenario, like you're worried for, I don't know what it is, but you know, like that's, you see a spider, you see a snake, or, you know, whatever it may be, that fearful instinct, what would be your first reactions? Or, you can reflect and see what you've witnessed from others and what maybe their reaction would be. Like, what do you think like the most common first few reactions when somebody is fearful?
Yeah, I think a lot of it tends to fall into, I mean, as long as it's not like, you know, it's not your fight or flight. This is just like a general thing, right? Like a fear of like, you know, I don't want to go speak in front of them. I'm fearful.
Yeah, exactly. Or fearful of that, or you know, scared that you're going to lose your job, or you're fearful that maybe you can't afford to fix your car or whatever it may be. Some of that gets back into anxiety a little bit, but there's still that fear factor for exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people just kind of lean on themselves and get in their own head of what they're going to do, what they're feeling, what their reaction's going to be.
I'm not trying to set you up to for like a wrong answer or anything. I'm just curious what your first instincts would be. But yeah, no, I agree. So I think what you hit on was something I put is to overthink.
Yeah.
I mean, with you saying people get in their heads, I would think in my head, I think that's overthinking.
Yeah, for sure.
And so some of the answers I have were some people first instinct is to pray, or it may not be their first instinct, but one of the instincts is to pray, talk, breathe. But then the negative ones or the bad ones overthink, panic, and then they start to spiral. Yeah. And
avoidance, stuff like that.
And so I think those are all answers. But there's a specific answer that I guess I'm trying to guide us to, but I actually want to take us into the Bible because I think one of the best ways to solve fear is God tells us how to deal with it. And I think, I guess if you're not a believer, for people listening, they may not, turn to God as their
Yeah.
option, but
Yeah.
I'm going to share my opinion, so
Yeah,
you can
for
either
sure.
agree or disagree. I don't really care. So Philippians 4:4-6 is what I'm about to read. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say rejoice. Let your reasonableness be known to everyone. The Lord is at hand. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. Sorry, I stumbled a little bit with my
No,
words.
you're good.
Yeah. So what stands? No wrong answer.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not trying to set you up for anything. I just genuine curiosity. Would anything stand out to you? It's okay if nothing did.
Can we Google what supplication definition is?
Supplication means the action of asking or begging for something earnestly or humbly.
Oh well, actually, no, I was
Okay.
wrong on my definition.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
My
It's
bad.
like a desperate prayer, like a.
I mean,
I guess like what I was thinking is when it says, "But in everything, by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God."
Mhm.
You know, something just with that coming to Him with, you know, like an earnesty in your prayer and thanksgiving. Don't just come to Him being, "Hey, I have a problem."
Yeah.
Don't
only come with your problems.
come with the thankfulness, the blessings for everything you do have,
Yeah,
and
I've actually never
you
thought
know,
about that when reading that.
coming to Him with, you know, not just your problems, but
Yes.
even mentally. I think going through these things, you're receiving the blessings with thanksgiving for
Mhm.
what He's given you, and not just spilling your anxieties on Him.
Yeah.
But I think that could set you up to kind of divert your mind from being focused on all your troublesomes, all your bothers, all your woes.
Yeah.
I think that would be a biblically kind of built-in way. If you follow that, even kind of gives you a little more structure in how to pray,
Yeah.
how to attack that.
I think that's great, and I think that's something we can definitely use on like a regular basis. Like,
Yeah.
you know, come to God on a regular basis and thanking Him for, you know, everything we are blessed with, not
Yeah.
just when you need something.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
The specific part that I want to focus on, I mean, that was great, but the specific part I have written down to continue to talk about was, so the verse starts with rejoice in the Lord always. Always, no matter what, rejoice in the Lord. It even repeats it. Like it's important.
Yeah.
But then it goes on, do not be anxious, but pray your worries and fears to the Lord. And I mean, that goes on to what, we talked about how, or you talked about how it's good to not just give God your worries and fears, but like it says in there, rejoice in the Lord, you know, be thankful, even in those fearful moments, you know, you want to be thankful, you want to be rejoiceful for what you do have instead of always looking at the negative, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I think even for, if there are, you know, non-believers listening, I feel like you can still utilize that. You can still be thankful for the things you do have instead of focusing on what you don't have.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not encouraging you to not be a believer, but I'm also, non-believers can still benefit.
Yeah, there's so much life to
know.
be thankful, and you know,
Absolutely.
whether you believe that comes from God or just from the universe, whatever you want it to be, there's so much more to be thankful for than just what you got going on.
I have a couple more verses I want to read.
Cool.
Just because this topic is very important to me, and I've used it for many times for youth in college groups, just because no matter how many times I reuse this topic or rethink through it, it's still good to constantly be reminded of it.
Yeah.
And I think it is a very relatable topic. Like, I think a lot of people deal with these things and may not always stop to think.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm trying to encourage people to stop and think. Isaiah 41:10, the ESV, English Standard Version. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened, and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. So I guess before I go on, what stands out? If anything stands out to you, I guess what? Like if you could pinpoint one thing that stood out to you the most, I guess.
I think the commandment and the statement in the start of both of those verses, fear not, for I am with you. And then the start of that one, which is, for I have commanded you, to fear not. And then he gives you the statement of fear not, for I have commanded you. But then he gives you the reasons why.
Yeah.
I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think that's like a very powerful way of stating it, where he is giving you his command, his reasoning, but then he's also comforting, and giving you the I will strengthen.
Yeah, I mean,
uphold.
God tells us, many times. We've read several verses that tells us not to fear, not to worry. He even commands us not to fear. You just said that. But fear, worry, they can all be ways of sin if we let it affect our lives, I guess is what I'm trying to get down to. So it's all, and what God is telling us, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
If you let fear, if you let worry, anxiety, however you want to, they are all slightly different, but very similar, I think.
Yeah.
They can all be ways of sin. You're going to have that first instinct, that first reaction of fear, but it's how you go on to handle it.
Yeah.
That can lead to sin or lead to a negative outcome.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it's definitely a deteriorating thing, and you'll see it affect your life, your relationships, your
absolutely
everything. It'll consume you.
I agree.
Something he tells us to bring it to him for a reason. He knows we can't handle that on our own.
Definitely. Well, and so some of these notes and things, I originally wrote them and these verses and stuff for because our college minister had asked me to do one of our Thursday night devos.
Okay.
And this was, a topic that was on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I hate speaking in front of people so much.
Yeah.
I do not like being the center of attention at all. I would much prefer to be behind the scenes, helping out and serving wherever I can. However, that is a fear and that is a worry. And this being on my mind, I'm like, I can't have this topic or this thought, but be fearful to share it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I guess that's one way I have strived to try to overcome that fear.
Yeah.
Is to, when somebody says that and that fear sits in, I'm like, full send, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get up there, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
God will guide me. God will give me the words.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, I'll figure it out. And so I've gotten more comfortable doing it and talking in front of people and stuff. But that has definitely been one of my biggest fears, is getting up in front of people and talking and whether it's mentoring or guiding or, sharing faith or whatever it may be, getting up and talking and being that person, being in front of people, teaching a class at camp and those type of things, leading, singing, whatever it is, despise it. The feeling, it's just sheer fear. Like that is probably the thing that makes me most fearful, is being up in front of people.
Yeah.
And so this has helped me, doing this topic over and over again has helped me to continuously remember, turn to God, do it for God. I finally felt really comfortable this last time I led singing, because instead of leading for the people there, I sang for the Lord, and I guided those people by, keeping them on a beat and on tune as much as I can. I'm not the greatest, but doing it for God instead of for those people or for myself is how I allowed myself to shove that fear away and to get rid of that fear. And so,
it's something. It's like a muscle you have to exercise, and
Yeah.
the more you do it, the more regularly trained it is. It just comes
Definitely.
natural, and it's hard to get momentum with that. And you know, those first, I don't know however many times it is for that person, the 3, the 10,
It may never go
20
away.
times. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just something that it takes practice and
Yeah.
constant exposure, whether it's just, you know, facing little things day to day, confrontation, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it's just practice.
I agree. Definitely. So I just want to go over these last couple verses. They're some of my favorites, but they're also ones I try to live by as much as I can remember to do so. Luke 12:22-33. Again, this is the ESV. And he said to his disciples, "Therefore I tell you, do not be anxious about your life, what you eat, nor about your body, what you will put on, for life is more than food, and the body more than clothes. Consider the ravens, they neither sow nor reap, they have neither storehouse nor barn, and yet God feeds them. Of how much more value are you than the birds? And which of you, by being anxious, can add a single hour to his lifespan?" Or span of life. I just read it backwards. "If then you are not able to do as small a thing as that, why are you anxious about the rest? Consider the lilies, how they grow, they neither toil nor spin. Yet I tell you, even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. But if God so clothes the grass which is alive in the fields today, and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, how much more will he clothe you, O you of little faith? And do not seek what you are to eat and what you are to drink, nor be worried. For all the nations of the world seek after these things, and your Father knows you need them. Instead, seek his kingdom, and these things will be added to you. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell your possessions and give them to the needy. Provide yourself with money bags that do not grow old, with a treasure in the heavens that does not fail, where no thief approaches, and no moth destroys."
You forgot the last part.
Oh, did I?
For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a lot to unpack, but the part I specifically want to focus on for this topic is God says he feeds the animals, and then he states that we are more valuable.
Yeah.
So you think if God takes care of the birds, that he will also take care of people he made in his own image, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you see squirrels out there living their happy life, and their food, they have all the food they could ever want. The birds have all the food they could ever want.
Yeah.
Yet we're over here worried about all of these little things. I don't know that there's necessarily us in the first world that we live in. We don't necessarily fear what we're going to eat or what we're going to wear necessarily.
Yeah.
But we may fear, are we going to be able to pay our water bill, or, what our bill, whatever a bill may be, or are we going to be able to fill up our car with gas?
Yeah.
And they're not as worrisome as food, maybe.
Yeah.
They're even less important, I guess.
Yeah.
But God provides what the animals need, provides everything they could ever imagine. He's going to provide us with what we need. We may not think that we may think we need more than what he provides, I guess.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But he's going to provide us with what we need, not what we want. So we don't have to worry about the important things, because God will give it to us, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. I think the biggest thing that jumped out at me is where he says in verse 30, "For all the nations of the world seek after these things, and your Father knows that you need them."
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, "Instead, seek his kingdom, and these things will be added to you." That's just kind of like a reminder, something I haven't seen in a while, just of this is what sets us apart. Everybody worries about that. Everybody everybody worries about what's going to add to their life. And when we aren't worried about that and we're focused on him, that's when he lets all those other things fall into place.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just something that you have so much more mental energy there to go towards him when it's not pulled aside and worrying about
Yeah.
how things are going to lay out.
Our last topic was about social media, and we talked
Yeah.
about how it can suck hours away from your lives. It can
Yeah.
suck time away from your
Yeah.
life, not only because you can be scrolling on news or watching the news or whatever form of news it may be. Not only is that taking away from your time because you're just sucked into focusing on that, but it's making you anxious and worried
Yeah.
about things that you can do nothing about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, I mean, like you said, and like it says, which of you, in verse 25, and which of you being anxious can add a single hour to your lifespan? I mean,
Yeah.
you can't. Everyone has 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
We don't choose when that 24 hours ends. I
Yeah.
mean, we recently had a friend of ours that borderline pushed that limit
Yeah.
and could have been no more and had no
Yeah.
more time on this life.
Yeah.
I believe he's in a place to where, he would have been in a better
Yeah,
place.
for sure.
And so he could have been up
Yeah.
with God in a matter of a flash of his life.
Yeah.
But I think he's done a good job of focusing on some of those important things
Yeah.
and not necessarily worrying about them. I'm sure deep
Yeah.
down he has those worries
Yeah.
and
And I'm
things.
sure this has been so good for him. Just
Yeah.
spending this time relying solely on God.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's so many things he could be worried about that I'm sure just have fallen away.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What do we all need something like that to happen to us for us to focus on what's important, or can we learn? That's the thing.
Yeah.
We all need to learn from other people's experience.
Yeah.
and
I think-
learn.
I think we get it in micro doses. Sometimes we
Yeah.
see it. Sometimes we don't.
Yeah.
I think we get little things that can kind of upset our lives just enough to where
Yeah.
maybe we see, oh, hey, this is not worth it. This is
Yeah.
sucking away time. Like that moment when you get off the toilet and you realize you're 20 minutes deep on a Facebook scroll. That should be
Yeah.
a time of reflection. That should be-
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't experience that guilt for no reason.
Absolutely. Yeah. You could be thinking about how to, solve your communication issues with your spouse or whatever
Yeah.
it could be. But no, we're scrolling on
Mhm.
Facebook worried about this comments or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
It's super dumb and a complete waste of time.
Yeah.
You gain nothing from it.
Yeah.
I recently had, or not recently, I had a friend, I just recently learned this though, that I go to camp with, and we both grew up in the church. And so he didn't really have a testimonial or a story or something to relate to people. So like he couldn't go up to people that have had a rough time and relate with them.
Mm.
And he made the mistake of praying for God to give him something to relate to these people with. And so he had a girlfriend at the time that they were in a really, what's the term I'm looking for? A really serious relationship.
Yeah.
And were moving forward to get married or engaged in their near future. And she, however, got in a car wreck and died. And that was a lot for him to go through.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a rough struggle there, but he got what he got what he prayed for, and it is something he can relate to people now. And I had some really good talks with him. He's like, don't make that mistake. Don't learn from other people or be able to share or guide them to people that can. Like, don't.
Yeah.
And so I guess I say that to say, it could end tomorrow.
Yeah.
It could end whenever, something could happen. You could wake up and your heart stops, or a car crash, or whatever it may be. Obviously don't go through life worrying about that because you can't control it.
No.
But instead of having that near-death experience and deciding to live like, I'm focused on all of these dumb things that don't matter, when I should be focusing on this, I should be reading my Bible, getting to know God, serving God, doing whatever it may be. Don't wait for that moment of near death to
Yeah.
decide to start living your life for the Lord, or to start living your life in a way that would please him or guide
Yeah.
him. Learn from other people's mistakes and start today, start now. It's really difficult to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I can say it all I want. It's so difficult to do, but it's something, I guess, that I've never really thought about until right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I have just never given it this much thought, but like, I don't want to have that near death experience to decide, hey, maybe I should actually do something worthwhile for the Lord. I mean, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not that I don't, but
Yeah.
So anyways, that's something I guess I encourage everyone to also kind of see is, let's not wait for that near death experience to start living our lives for the Lord, and push that anxiety away, push that fear away, and give it to God. Give your worries to God. Give your troubles to God through prayer. Be thankful for what you do have, but focus on what's important and living your life for him, I guess. That's kind of my conclusion.
I think it's something you can add in through just being intentional with your life and the time you do have. Something coming back from Denmark, like I realized how many little things I didn't miss. What could I cut out of my life that I didn't miss?
Mm-hmm.
And just like, there's times before work, like, okay, I have 3 hours on my phone a day. Is an hour of that after work, an hour before work, 30 minutes in between, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like if I cut that time out before and after, I have time to think, to write things down, to be intentional. And so much of that just kind of like fear and anxiety that comes within the first 20 minutes of waking up, of being late. Just give yourself time to think, and like whether it's quiet time, whether it's writing down your thoughts that you do have, the blessings, the things you're thankful for.
Yeah.
Just so much more intentional. It just takes the discipline to have that kind of freedom of, thought and mind.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard to gain that discipline, however. And it's nothing. I think I can say this absolute. Nothing good ever comes easy.
No.
It's always the negative and the bad that is so easy to slip into our minds to become a habit.
Yeah.
I mean, you hang around somebody that swears and you will easily slip into it very quickly. However, to get rid of it, not an easy thing.
No.
Quite difficult, because once you go down that road, it's hard to come back. People that have addictions to whatever it may be, TikTok, that's an addiction. People don't want to consider it as an addiction, but it is. To caffeine addiction. There's a lot of people that have that, and they just keep building up more and more and more caffeine because eventually their body gets used to it. But if they try to cut back on that, they have a caffeine withdrawal, and I mean, they're jitters and shaking.
Yeah.
It's super easy to fall into these bad habits.
Yeah.
And super difficult to fall out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess we just got to be careful to remember that it's worth the struggle. It's worth going through the difficulty of, hey, even though I went to bed late, I set a standard to get up at this time and to do this, to actually get up and do that, or whatever it may be, or whether it's, go to the gym to be healthier, and you get off work and you're tired, but you set that goal to push yourself to go do that. I think it's important for us to remember that good things don't always come easy. We need to push ourselves into it.
Yeah,
I guess.
For sure.
And so with anxiety, with fear, to remember to take a break, take a step back from whatever the situation is. If you're anxious about something in life, if you're anxious about finances, your relationship, communication, whatever it may be that you may be fearful or anxious about, take a step back, look at it from maybe a different point of view, maybe take a look at it from somebody else's point of view, but give it to God, give your worry to God, go to his word and maybe see if it has answers about that specific topic, or simply give your worries and your fears to God, be thankful for what you do have and focus on the things you are thankful for. But if you give your worries to God. I think this is an important thing for me to say, though. If you pray and you give your worries to God and you still continue to worry about them, then you're not truly giving them to God. So when I say give your worries to God, I mean, you sit down, you say that prayer, you write it down with what, if you write your prayers down, whatever it may be, but then you have to move on.
Yeah.
You have to let that go and truly give it to God, as hard as that may be. But that's the only way to move forwards.
Yeah. And there's some things that, like, you know, they will be ongoing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think
there's
it's-
exceptions.
Yeah. I think it's something that it'll give you a lot more peace of mind if you have that
Absolutely.
closure and you have, this is in God's hand. I am taking this responsibility off me. I've brought it to you. I don't know what that would look like without a relationship with God.
Yeah,
I think that burden falls on you. And I think that's
definitely.
something that is super hard to carry. And, you know, it's something that just never lets go of you. But
Yeah,
it's so nice to be in a spot with our relationship with Christ where we can hand off things like that.
absolutely.
I've seen that free me from a lot of things, just being able to let go.
Yeah. For me personally, anytime I'm worried or stressed out, or anxious, it drains my body of all energy.
Yeah.
And it just, so I avoid it as much as I possibly can. If there's something that stresses me out, it may not be the most healthy thing, but if it's stressing me out, I push it away. I shove it off to the side, like not important stuff. Like, let's say there's a website or something where I need to work on it, but the idea of all the work I need to do, the thought of that kind of stresses me out. I tend to shove it and procrastinate doing it.
Yeah.
And so I've never really internally realized that enough to give it to God, I guess.
Yeah.
But Lexi has helped me through those things just by helping me get a task list going and doing those type of things.
Yeah.
So I think you can also, I think foremost, we should give it to God, but you can also rely on your spouse. If you don't have a spouse, a good friend or somebody to help you maybe through those things. But communication can be a big part too. So
even if you don't have that, like, not everybody has good friends that they can go to stuff with that. Giving yourself, you know, some discipline and writing a checklist.
Yeah.
Even
definitely.
The commitment to go grab a pencil, a paper, and write it out. That is the first step of many little steps that you can take.
Yeah.
Like, that is committing to yourself enough to spend 2 minutes writing out the things that you need to get done, the things that are weighing on you. Even taking that from the back of your head, putting it on paper, you can see it, whether it's one thing and you have multiple steps that you can kind of work your way into, or, you know, just a big list, break it down task by task. I think that's
definitely. I think that's
good, whether you have
that's good advice. It's great.
anything, personal, spouse, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's the first step.
Yeah.
Keeping your hands
Second
busy.
step, in my opinion.
Yeah. Second step.
But yeah.
But
Definitely. I agree.
first step you can take apart from going to God.
Yeah.
The first physical step you can take.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, for the sake of not becoming broken records and just hitting it on, and I think we've covered it. I think we've shared, you know, how we may deal with it personally ourselves and what the Bible tells us to do. But I guess in conclusion, turn to God. You know, if you have fears, bring it to God, but also remember to be thankful for what you do have with fears or anxiety, whatever it may be. Remember the good in your life, and remember that there are people that want to help you. You just have to communicate. You have to seek out and talk to them. Or there may be a simple solution as just getting your thoughts on paper and being organized.
Yeah.
So you just have to take a step back and not hide away on your phone or social media. Take a step back and breathe and take a moment to just think logically and, you know, jump in to do the hard thing.
Yeah.
Do the thing that makes you maybe a little bit uncomfortable and helps you deal with that fear or that anxiety. So,
yeah, for sure.
Any last thoughts or ideas?
Only last thought is to keep yourself busy with stuff that matters, whether it is, you know, when you're sitting on the toilet, instead of scrolling for 15 minutes, do something productive. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter what it is, whether you're thinking about something that needs to get done. I heard a saying, the devil loves to shake an idle hand.
Absolutely.
Keeping myself busy with stuff that, keeps me from having those 10, 15 minutes free where
Yeah.
he can intrude and give me those thoughts that lead to anxiety and stuff like that.
Yeah. I want to clarify. You're not saying like always be busy, like doing something. Like you can be busy by sometimes you can have fun. Like you can be busy hanging out with friends and stuff, but like don't do those useless things that are leading you down that fearful path or that anxiety path. So.
Yeah. There's so much that's unproductive that we can keep ourselves busy with.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think if you cut that out, there's so much room for there's so much less room for anxiety.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Stated.
Okay.
It's the last thought.
Welcome. Well, thank you all for joining us on our fear and anxiety topic. If you for some reason disagree with anything that we have said today, fantastic. Please let us know. You can contact us at the Zoomer Perspective Show at gmail.com. Or if you just enjoyed listening to us or have anything to add to it, we would love to hear your comments, your critiques. I also think if you are listening on certain podcast platforms, there might be a number you can text that sends it to us. But thank you for listening, and we hope to see you guys in the next episode. Peace.